An unbelievable season for Leeds, one of my favourite seasons of my entire life. But now it's time to do the Leeds end of season rewards, and we've got a very special guest today, Danny from Not Another Leeds Podcast. How's it going, mate?
Bonjour, ça va?
We'll dive straight into things with the big question.
Yep.
Who is the Leeds United Player of the Year?
See, I've thought about this constantly, and I feel bad for leaving others out, but for me, Joe Rodon.
Joe Rodon?
It's got to be Joe Rodon because I think he's just been solid at the back. He's obviously a leader. I think if Ampadu drops off, it should be Joe Rodon for me. I just think he's been solid at the back, not injury, and he gets up, whinges a little bit, as we all tend to do. But yeah, for me, it's got to be Joe Rodon, and you've got to have some honourable mentions as well.
I was going to say, I've got a few nominees, and Joe Rodon actually isn't a part of my nominees.
I'm going. It's been good.
Yeah, it's been a good episode. But no, so my nominees were, first of all, Jayden Bogle.
Yes, I agree. I'd say signing of the season for me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, is he? Because
this is what I mean.
It's so tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like when Bogle came in, I actually wasn't a huge fan of him, actually. After the first 5 or 10 games, I thought defensively he was a little bit poor.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he just didn't quite have it for me. But as the season has gone on, he has improved defensively. And what he's done for us in attack has been unreal. Like I didn't think that, obviously, Firpo has done just as well on the left-hand side in terms of attack, but I'd say Bogle's improved his defensive game. Mm-hmm. And then one of my other nominees was actually another new signing in Tanaka, who I think everyone will give a mention, and he's instantly become a fan favourite.
Oh, yeah, especially his parents, when they've been at the games and stuff, they've all loved that. But yeah, I mean, a close second is Jayden Bogle and Ayo Tanaka. Or is it Ao Tanaka? Forgive me if I butchered your name. Yeah, he didn't start very well, did Bogle, but as the season's progressed, I think he's, especially the ones where, he megged, was it the equaliser at QPR? Where he sort of megged him, and I just think he's been really good, Jayden Bogle. Tanaka, the goal at Hull, what a way to score your first goal for Hull. But yeah, I just feel like overall, I have to give it to Joe Rodon because he's been solid for me at the back. I know I'll get howlers in the comments, but no,
I don't think that's a bad shout at all. My pick personally is Tanaka. Then also because we signed him for such a small fee, and I didn't think that he was going to turn into what he has. Like, I think it's kind of easy to pick him as well because all the fan base has fallen in love with him. But he cost us 4 mil, and I think he's probably worth 20 plus already.
Yep.
And we've struggled to have. I don't think we've had that solid centre mid for a long time, maybe since like Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
And he's just come in and been so calm, so collected. So my pick is Tanaka. But neither of us have even mentioned an attacker, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the nucleus has to be that middle for me. I mean, we can have, Solomon is another mention as well. Especially the last kick of our season to win it. I'm sure we'll talk about, but. Like Dan James, who had an unbelievable season last season, and Piro's obviously got Golden Boot. We're just spoiled for choice at this point.
I think if I was going to go for an attacker, it would have to be Solomon. Not just because of that last game, but in the last 6 games of the season, I think he got 7 or 8 goal involvements. And usually when we're completely struggling under the pressure, the fact that he managed to step up and a goal or an assist every game, he just dragged us through that period, and I really hope we manage to keep Solomon. I don't think we will now, but
no, I think obviously there's reports that he's talking with Marseille and stuff like that. It's up in the air at the minute, but if we are going to sign Solomon, now's the time, and maybe if I could, I'll bake him a cake. If you're watching this, I'll make you your favourite cake, whatever that is.
You'll get a free cake, Solomon.
Yeah.
It might give you food poisoning, but that's a win as well.
What's a bit of food poisoning between friends?
If Marseille are in, you can't turn down Marseille, can you? The Champions League football just finished second in Liga.
Because now we give him that opportunity. He said himself, I've been dying when he scored that goal against. Forgive me, I forgot. Where they equalised straight away.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Basically, he scored a worldie on his right foot, didn't he, from outside the box?
Oh, yeah, curled one into top corner.
Yeah, and he says he's been dying to do that, and you can see it throughout the season when you look in hindsight. But
it's like he just leveled up.
Yeah, but I totally agree with what you're saying. He's turned up for us for the last 6 games, and especially in the fan pressure, And Farke's been under pressure from the fans mostly, but he's just turned up, hasn't he? And that's what you want.
But my player of the season, Al Tanaka. Your player of the season, Joe Rodon.
Yep.
Let's move on to goal of the season, which is a little bit more of a tricky one. I tried to look at this in a more objective way and not take into account the emotion of the goal, because it would be so easy to pick that Solomon last kick of the season goal, wouldn't it?
It really would, because there's a lot of emotion behind it, and the time in the 91st minute. I mean, throughout the season we've scored a few last minute goals, but if I had to narrow one down, and it's kind of an outsider one for me, I'm not going to pick the strike one, the Solomon one. I'm going to pick it was Joel Peru against Watford, and basically Solomon knocks it across the 6-yard box, and he's got quick feet, and he puts it in the corner for me. And I just thought that just the technique and the silkiness of it, and it's no one would have thought of that one, but I like that one personally.
Do you know one that's always stuck in my head throughout this season? We played Luton at home, and Sam Byram scored a scissor kick.
Yeah.
Which I know that it wasn't even like the best scissor kick. It wasn't an overhead kick, but it was just the fact that it's Sam Byram who throughout the season has been probably our least attacking fullback. Yes, and he went and scored a scissor kick. But then also I thought about Tanaka at Hull away, because we hadn't really seen him start taking loads of shots from outside the box, and he just absolutely curled one into the top corner. And then I really, really want to say even Firpo against Sheffield United, but we're going to go on to moment of the season, and I think those type of things can be more talked about in that section. So maybe Dan James versus Plymouth at home, when he took a shot from the edge of the box and it almost floated into the top corner.
Yes.
It was like he hit it with the bottom of his studs and it just slowly went in. So for me, I don't know, it's between that Dan James goal and the Tanaka goal.
I've got another Perot one actually against Stoke away, when it was like hard to see, when he's got underneath the bar, and I just thought the calmness and the precise and the precision. Sorry, my England's broken. You won't believe it's my first language, and just how he just under the bar went in, defender had no chance on the line, and he just turns away and just the Perot sort of thing. And I just think it's stuff like that where he is the best finisher at the club.
It was a really tight angle, that one. He literally got it on the edge of the 6-yard box and just pinged it into near corner. I remember. So, that were a good goal as well. So what should you pick? What are you thinking?
Do you know what? Thinking about it,
because I like that Watford one as well. I remember he managed to skip past a few players, and he doesn't move that lightly most of the time.
It is between them two. I mean, obviously there's obvious ones, like the strike header and stuff like that, but I'm going to have to go for the under the bar one against Stoke away, just purely because we thought it was dead because the keeper got there, but and the tightness in the angle. But, honourable mention is the Watford one.
I think I'm going to go Tanaka against Hull away, just because I love an outside the box shot. Personally, I just love one that goes straight in.
It's almost reminiscent of Click against Borough, if you remember that one, where it just like a heat-seeking missile to top right corner.
It's locked into a certain area of the net. So I'm going to go for that. This one is, I actually think, the most difficult one, because there's been so many good games this season, but game of the season.
Oh, Swansea away.
Swansea away, straight away.
That's the first one that comes, because I remember when Nonto scored the winner.
Offside as well. Was he? I think he was, if I'm remembering the right
goal.
Well,
it cost me a lot of money for that goal. So if you're EFL watching, thank you for keeping it there. No, but I just because there's so many moments throughout the season where, as Leeds fans, we're like, right, it's happening again. It's happening again. But I remember it was reminiscent to the Birmingham City away, where when Luke Ayling scored across the thing. I thought it was an own goal.
That Birmingham game was crazy. It was just goal.
It was mad. It was absolutely mad, because I kept refreshing Twitter and goal kept coming up for each team, and I was like, what is going on? You wouldn't believe that. I was a long head. Before Leeds United came into my life. But I'm just going to have to go with that, just purely on the emotional effect. But then, again, we've been spoilt with Sunderland at home, Sheffield United at home, away. Sorry.
Well, both fixtures against Sheffield were good this season.
Funny story is, when I was for that Sheffield away game, right, I was on a cruise in the middle of the Caribbean. Posh, I know.
Oh.
And the only way I could watch it was on Sky News along the ticker, along the bottom. So I was just pacing it up and down in the bar, but yeah, it's honourable mentions.
For me, one that I have to pick is actually Stoke at home. the day not that long ago where we needed to win, and if we won and Sheffield lost, then that meant that we were promoted. So I was going into Ellen Road. Stoke were actually on decent form at that point. And I was thinking, this is it. Like, we're under pressure. We're playing against a team that we should beat with a great home record. I know how this story goes. We're going to lose.
Yeah.
And then we battered them 6-0.
I think battered, it's a kind word.
Yeah, but it was unexpected to the point where I was just sat there in awe. Like, I really thought that we were going to crumble in that moment. And we just absolutely pummeled them. And it was the way in which we did it, where they didn't even have an opportunity really to get into the game.
I think after 20 minutes, for them, it was just damage control.
Well, yeah, because Pirot got that hat-trick, didn't he, in 20 minutes?
Under 20 minutes, yeah.
And at that point as well, Pirot was on a pretty poor streak. He'd not scored for like 6 or 7 games. I think I even called for Bamford to start at that point, and then Pirot came and...
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Pirot came and got a hat-trick.
Yeah, I think was he on 15? Yeah, he was on 15 because that was the last game he scored in, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was it? Yeah, I think
he
it was.
Got 4 that game, and it took him to 19, and Sainz was the leader at the time. But yeah, I think Perot's been great.
But I want to talk about Sheffield United away as well, because at home was a bit more of a calm win, but away, 1-0 down, we were getting battered in the first half. It was a bad do. I was thinking, oh God. And then in second half, coming out, Firpo header, Tanaka header. Was it a header as well?
It
from
was
back
a header,
post?
yeah.
And then Pirot just put the cherry on the cake, on the top of the cake.
So much venom in that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and just pinged one from edge at box. But in that moment, when we came back like that against Sheffield, I thought we'd won the league.
I said the same. I said if we beat Sunderland, because obviously we've come back off the last minute winner against Sunderland. If we win Sunderland and Sheffield United away, we're up. And then we drew against Luton, I think, a couple of weeks later or something. But I wasn't wrong. We went up as champions, so true. I wasn't wrong.
But we went on a little bit of a bad run after that. It was strange, wasn't it? Because we beat Sunderland, we beat Sheffield, and I thought, right, this is it. Yep. And then we just dipped massively. But one other game I wanted to quickly mention, and this one doesn't have as much like emotion or riding on it at this point, but it was Bristol City at home when we needed to, second to last game at season, just needed to win to effectively stay in the title charge. Bristol were on decent form, needed to win to get in the playoffs. 4-0, easy win. And it just felt like a party atmosphere at Ellen Road. I think everyone was just watching that. We're already up. We're having fun. Winning 4-0 against a team that's looking to get promoted. And it was just the way, free scarves everywhere. The whole stadium was yellow. The players there celebrating on the pitch after. It's just like that was one of my favourite memories at Ellen Road. Yeah,
I mean... Obviously, like you say, like I think every Leeds fan had that dark voice in the back of the head going, so when are you going to mess it up this year? But obviously, as we all know, we didn't. And just for him to keep that drive, to keep cruising at such a pace, 4-0 for a Bristol City team that obviously got trounced in the playoffs, but they were looking for playoffs at the time, and they had a good record.
They had a fantastic season. I didn't predict them to get in playoffs. I don't think anyone with a brain would have at start of the year. So they just need to try push on next year. We didn't expect him to go on and win it, but that's a good achievement for them. But we'll move on to one which I think it'll take us 2 seconds to talk about, and that is Young Player of the Year.
Who's yours?
Willie Gnonto.
Willie Gnonto.
There isn't really another option.
No, you're right.
Literally, you could have at the start of the season. I would have predicted it to have been Joseph, but he didn't really. No,
that's a good shout. Yeah, I'm with you there. Willie Gnonto. I think I won't say quite redeemed himself, but I do think he's heading in the right direction after what happened last season?
Yeah, start of last season. I think it's been quite nice to see him. As you said, there was a lot of anger between him and Leeds fans at one point. And especially this season when he's probably not got as many minutes as he wanted. He's not started many matches up to the final run-in. And his attitude looks to have been good. When he has come on, he's contributed and been full of energy. Mm-hmm. And he's still only like 21, 22. So
is Ramazani same age?
No, Ramazani's a couple of years older.
All right.
Yeah. So Gnonto for me is the obvious pick. There isn't there isn't anyone else to really get into it. And we'll move swiftly on to the first negative topic of today in a weird way. And that is letdown of the season. Is there a player that you expected a lot from or expected better from that didn't quite do it for you?
Mentioned him just there, Matteo Joseph. I do believe, in pre-season he looked good, okay. And I think he started the first 8 games, I believe. Got 1 goal, but I did expect more from him, but maybe that's just me as a fan, and I know a lot of other fans did put a lot of pressure on him to start, and then because obviously I think Perot wasn't starting then, was he? He was on the bench, but Perot went through that patch of coming off the bench and scoring, and it just proved that he's not ready to lead the line just now, especially for a team like Leeds United. I do think we'll loan him out just so he can get bulked up, if we don't sell him. But Matteo Joseph for me.
Yeah, the club clearly believe in him as well, because we got a £10 million offer in January and didn't sell him. And I think there is definitely a player in there. At the start of the season, I thought, this is going to be the next big thing. I remember seeing videos from other content creators like Leeds have got a gem here. And I still think we might. I agree with you. He needs to go somewhere where he's going to play every week and have an opportunity to push on. It's actually in front of goal. I don't think he's too bad. It's his other play, not the greatest first touch.
Hold up.
Yeah, hold up play is not very good. Passing's not as good as Pirot, etc. I wouldn't expect it to be at his age.
No.
But I think that next season, if he gets a loan move somewhere, we need to kind of see him push on. And I think he does need that loan move, because we're going to need to get another striker in order to compete. So then he's definitely not going to have a look.
I agree, mate, yeah.
But another person I wanted to mention is Meslier. I know maybe we didn't expect so much from him at the start of the season, but last year he was much better than he was this season.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just don't know. There's obviously been some sort of psychological gap, break. And I think, do we go on and run if he lets that second Swansea goal in? Does he get dropped? Do you know what I mean? It's like Schrodinger's Millier. But in a sense, you can look back and say, I'm grateful for that second Swansea goal, because Darlow came in, and then Darlow
changed our trajectory, didn't it?
Honestly, Darlow coming in, and it says a lot when the fans are cheering when Darlow catches the ball.
It's quite sad, really. When it's happened, I've been there, and I thought, not really what we need to be doing, but it's going to happen.
I think there's rumours that Millier has to be dropped, but that's just hearsay at this point. But I do believe that he needed it. He needed dropping, and throughout the season, Millier's been Sheffield and Burnley's best player.
I think it's a shame for me, because I've always tried to back Meslier.
Yeah.
On Not Another Leeds podcast, I've said it a few times. I've always thought he's still young. Mistakes happen. I appreciate that as a goalkeeper. But this season, at the start of the season, he was 24. He's 25 now. That's the age of a goalkeeper where you need to be pushing on and you need to be more reliable. You're not 19, 20, 21 anymore, where you can still be making multiple mistakes a season. Yeah. So I expected him in my head to push on, and he didn't. So that was a letdown for me. But I think my pick is also Matteo Joseph.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Millier shout was a good shout, to be honest.
Yeah. We're here with one topic left, and it is the moment of the season. What one individual moment has brought you the most joy?
It's got to be the Solomon goal. It has to be, because to clinch the title in the 91st minute, you've got Burnley fans ready to storm the pitch at Turf Moor, only for them to why the Millwall fans laughing? Solomon, do you know what I mean? And, I think I ran around the garden with a T-shirt around my head. Not a pretty sight, by the way, but, subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Neighbours calling the place.
Yeah, there's a wild pig out in someone's garden. But, yeah, it has to be, especially from a player like Solomon, like you say, who's just turned up for the past 6 games. And you saw on Farke's face, he was just sat in the dugout, wasn't he? So
he was stressed.
Yeah,
he was feeling that moment. You could tell the weight of the world had just been lifted off his shoulders, mate. Yeah, I remember everyone saying, "Should we be reading into this?" And I thought, no, he's probably just adding enough.
Well, that's how reactive Leeds fans are. But I was too busy reacting outside in the garden.
I find it really hard not to pick the Solomon moment. I think it was magical for all of us, but I'm actually not gonna.
Dun, dun, dun.
My moment of the season actually doesn't involve a football match. It was the celebration in Leeds City Centre, the promotion parade, the title parade.
I was there.
I've been a Leeds fan my whole life, and I've never seen anything like that. And it was just like, I went with some family and my partner who isn't really into football, and everyone just had such a good day. And I thought, like, I love football for the game it is, but it was nice to see the whole city there, like people that don't, hundreds of thousands of people. There's rumours that it was over 250,000 people, but I have a lot of mates who can't get tickets for games, can't make it to games, are working, can't afford it, whatever it may be. And just for everyone to have that one opportunity to celebrate together, see the team, see the players, and actually have the trophy with us in the way in which we won it, it was special. And for me, that was the moment of the season.
Do you know what? You're going to make me change my mind. But no, I'll stick with the Sullivan thing. But what you just said is amazingly put, because I joined the army at 16 and left in my early 20s. And I've constantly tried to find something to belong to. I've supported Leeds all my life, but to be in this community, and to celebrate with other content creators on the day, and what you just said, like feeling a part of that club, even though I don't live in Leeds city centre, but it's just to be surrounded by your fellow, these are my people, and it was such a great feeling, and just seeing the players come. I mean, I couldn't see out for all the flares. If honest, I remember seeing Voba, and I remember seeing Dan James, realising how drunk he was.
Oh yeah, he was gone.
Dan James was gone. Yeah, but yeah, I 100% agree with what you said there, mate. It was so great just to feel.
It was proper community.
Yeah.
It felt like a proper community for Leeds fans online were a bit toxic. Everyone has their opinions and we're always arguing with each other. But that day was just everyone was together.
Elation,
everyone was happy.
Oh, it was great. Yeah,
it was unbelievable. I saw Struick nearly fall off the bus while dancing. It was all the players were pissed. It was just such a fun day. Yeah. But that brings us to the end of the awards. So if you are watching, please leave your player of the season, young player of the season, moment of the year, goal of the year. You've heard everything we've said. Yeah. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think.
Be nice.
And go subscribe to Not Another Leeds podcast as well.